Hello everyone, welcome to this session of Automotive Manufacturing Processes and Technology. I am Vimal Saloth from LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. In this session, we are going to discuss about types of cores, types of core boxes and core making procedure from the casting chapter. So first of all, let us understand what is core. Core is a component which is made from the sand and it is used to produce a hole or recess inside the casting. If casting contains some hole or recess like feature, then it is necessary to prevent the flow of the metal inside that particular area. So for that purpose, the component is used and it is known as a core. There are some types of the core. Mainly these types are horizontal core, vertical core, balanced core, wing core and hanging core. Now let us understand each and every core one by one. So first type is horizontal core. As shown in this diagram, it is placed horizontally. One half portion remains in the upper part of the mold flask, which is known as a cope, and another half of this core remains in a lower half portion, which is known as a drag. So here it is upper half, it is cope, and it is lower half, it is drag, and this line is a parting line, which is a differentiating surface between cope and drag. So here it is a component which we want to make by casting process, but it contains a thorough hole from this end to this end. So it is necessary to prevent the flow of the metal inside this particular area. So here this core is placed, and as it is placed horizontally, it is known as a horizontal core. You should notice that here the hole is throughout its length from one end to another end. So horizontal core can be used to produce a through hole. Next type of core is a vertical core. It is similar to horizontal core, but difference is that it is placed vertically as shown in this diagram. Upper part is made somewhat taper, and here also you should notice that it can be used to produce a hole from the one end up to the another end. It means through hole is there inside the casting. Next type of core is a balanced core. Balanced core is shown in this diagram. It is a balanced core. It is also placed horizontally, but the difference between horizontal core and balanced core is that balanced core can be used to produce a blind hole. Blind hole means that it is not from the one end up to the another end, but it is up to certain length or up to certain depth of the casting. So here this length is from this end up to this dimension. So it is a length in which we want to produce a hole. Balanced core can be used in a combination with a core print, and a core print is an element which can be used to support a core as it is remaining at other end overhanging. It is necessary that properly it should be supported at other end. Next type of core is a drop core, or it is also known as a wing core. Here in this diagram it is a wing core or drop core, and it is only on one side of the parting line. So it is only on the drag part. Recess is here only, So this type of component can be produced with the help of a drop core. Next type of core is hanging core, or it is also known as a cover core. Hanging core is the core which is remaining hanging with the help of the wire inside the molding flask. It is shown here by two diagrams. So it is a hanging core. Here it is shown by this hatching, and these are the wires through which it can be overhung with the up hanging core. Next topic is core box. Now how core can be produced? We know that if we want to produce a casting, we require a mold, and to produce a mold we require a pattern. So pattern is a duplicate, or it is a replica of the casting which we want to produce. In a similar way, if we want to make a core, it will also require a pattern. So actually core box is a pattern to make a core. There are certain types of the core boxes. These types are half core box, dump core box, split core box, right and left core box, trickle core box, and gang core box. Each and every core box has certain purpose. So let's see one by one each and every type of core boxes. First type of core box is half core box. Here half core is shown in this diagram. So core is made in two half part. If core is symmetrical, then this type of core box can be used. So here it is a core box, and by using this core box we can produce half part of the core. Another half can be sticked, or it can be pasted or cemented together with the first half, so it will produce a required core. Next type of box is dump core box. If core shape is a rectangular slab type, then dump core can be used. Here rectangular shape, so we can produce slab like core by the help of this dump core box. Next type of core box is split core box. If a core is symmetrical like cylindrical part, then it can be produced with the help of split core box. Here the core box is made in two equal half. Both the half can be exactly aligned with the help of this dowel pin. So when we fit together two half part, it will produce the required core as it is shown here. Another types are right and left core box. If a core is not symmetrical about its axis, then it can be made in two different parts, that is right and left. So particularly if it is like a right angled, then that type of core can be produced with right and left core box. Trickle core box can be used if a core is not of regular shape. So purpose to use trickle core box is to produce irregular shaped core. Gang core box is used to produce more than one core in a single application. N numbers of core can be produced in a single application. So here it is shown in this diagram. Here you can see 1, 2, 3 and 4. So in a single application we can produce 4 equal core. So that type of core box is known as a gang core box. Now let's see core making procedure. Step by step we will discuss the procedure to make a core. So first step is mixing of core sand. Now we know that core is made from the sand. So it is mixed with clay and with some binding material. Sand is used because it has very good collapsibility, permeability and refractoriness. Now what is collapsibility? and why it is necessary. So after completion of solidification process, the core can be removed from the casting by collapsing it. So it should be collapsible. Permeability is helpful to remove the entrapped gases, and refractoriness is necessary to withstand high temperature of molten metal, because core always remains in contact with molten metal which will be at high temperature. So always core is subjected to some thermal stresses, so it should be able to withstand all that thermal stresses. That's why refractoriness is necessary. Some binding materials are used nowadays. Some synthetic binding materials are also available, like resin, and linseed oil is a most generally used binding material. So mixing of core sand is done properly. The next step is ramming of core sand. To distribute all the sand particles properly, it is necessary to ram it. So next stage is ramming of the core sand. Then venting of core. To remove the entrapped gases, venting is done. So it can be done with the small diameter wires, and it will be helpful to escape the gases which can be entrapped otherwise inside the core. Next step is reinforcing of core. Reinforcing means to provide the internal strength to the core material, as it has to withstand thermal stresses, it has to withstand some ramming force or pressure also. It should be perfectly, or it should be able to withstand all those pressure or thermal stresses. So that's why reinforcing of core is done by internal metallic wires. Then baking of the core. This process is done in the oven, and the core can be made up to 260 degrees Celsius temperature. It is necessary to remove the moisture particles if they are present in the core sand, as it is mixed with the clay also. It may contain some moisture particles which are necessary to remove. So up to 100 degrees Celsius temperature, all those moistures can be removed, and further it can be heated up to 260 degrees Celsius, so it will be having a good strength. Then cleaning of the core. All the now next step is cleaning of the core. The core is cleaned with the help of some chemical agent also, and all the stresses are removed from the core before its actual application. Now, as we discussed, pattern is used to produce a mold cavity, core box is used to produce a core. So somewhat it looks like it is a similar, but there is some difference between pattern and core box. So let's see what is the difference between pattern and core box. So first point is about use. So pattern can be used to make the mold cavity, and core box can be used to produce a core. What is the purpose? Purpose of pattern is to produce a cavity for the molten metal, and purpose of core box is making a core. Purpose of core is to produce a hole or recess inside the casting, and purpose of core box is making the core. The material which is used for pattern, it can be wood, metal, plastic, and in some types of the casting process, wax can also be used as a pattern material, whereas in most of the cases core box is made from the wood. Support system. Pattern can be supported with the core print. Here it is not required. About types of the pattern, we know that what are the different types of the pattern. These are solid piece pattern, split piece pattern, gated pattern, loose piece patterns, etc. And about core boxes, that is half box, dump core box, split core box, etc. Thanks for watching.